Welcome back. Time for the Hot Topic Buzz. Nancy Pelosi's financial gains. Wow. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi recently backing a ban on trading for lawmakers and senior government officials, despite the fact that her net worth reportedly increased $140 million since 2008 with the help of her husband's trades. James, the salary of a congressperson right now is $193,000. And we're talking about $140 million here.
Yeah, and we're probably overpaying them, right? But look, I think it's not necessarily a good idea to have these people even more divorced from the private economy. So I don't think a total ban on equity ownership is the way to go. But more and quicker disclosure. I think it is a big question why she is pushing electric vehicle subsidies when her husband is buying Tesla. It's a question. These things ought to be out there. They are out there. Let's get even more and even faster disclosure so we can examine these potential conflicts and real conflicts and assess their motivations.
More disclosure is fine. I mean, it's a good idea. But at the same time, why not just do something like passive investing?
Right.
I mean, there are indexes, there are exchange-traded funds. But to trade individual stocks and options seems so dangerous to do when you're the person setting the law.
And you just hit the nail on the head with options. So that to me is the most egregious part of this equation. Is Paul Pelosi is not just going long stocks in advance of the non-public knowledge that he has, but he's dabbling in the options market to further enhance his returns, which is completely crazy. So, apparently, probably just as kind of a game of charades, the House is trying to roll out this Combating Financial Conflicts of Interest in Government Act.
What a joke.
Whatever that means, it's so confusing. Nobody can actually understand what's going on in it. But you're right. I mean, what is the problem with indexed investing? There should be no issue with it. When you have control over public policy, you have an advantage. You have an edge. I wish my clients had that same edge.
Unbelievable.
This is just the latest attack, the most recent attack, another attack, however you want to presage it, on the middle class. Because the rich and powerful continue to get more rich and powerful. Let's also be clear, because they set the rules, they also set the rules to benefit the poor, giving them a ton of handouts. And who ends up getting the shaft, as always? The middle class, because they pay for those handouts for the poor, yet they don't get the advantages of the rich and powerful.
But this stock trading thing seems so obvious to me. I mean, it's just incredible that they could trade stocks like this. I mean, there were stories where Paul Pelosi bought Microsoft, and then weeks later we find out that Microsoft was going to be in the running to get a Department of Defense contract. I mean, so it's not just Tesla.
Have you read just this year also he was long on NVIDIA,
yes,
obviously,
the chips bill.
Before the chips bill was coming through. So a lot of issues, but I think voters should make the call. It's a big problem now where especially the Democratic Party has largely cut itself off from the private economy. Their constituency is almost all government-based. And I just think this is another move in that direction, even though there are specific abuses we'd want to get rid of.
It's like a referee in football. Yeah. The referee is not supposed to have the ability to influence the outcome of the game. You are there to make sure the game is played fairly. That's right. And these are essentially referees that are influencing the outcome of the game. Yeah, it's awful.
But let's also be clear, if I could just add quickly, Republicans have had opportunities to step in the way of this in the past, and they haven't. Why? Because Republicans benefit from these rules as well if they're in those upper tiers.
Unbelievable. All right.